The planning of where landfill sites has been historically, South Africa hasn't been very competent in that regard in terms of town planning. In other words, provision is not made for new landfill sites, which often results in looking for landfill sites which are far distant from the source of generation. The big challenges of finding new landfill sites at the moment is, if we're looking in the Southern Cape particularly, is the sensitivity of the environment. Historically has been not a very good success rate in terms of identifying new landfill sites in that area due to the environmental sensitivity of the area.
We came across a percentage of about only 11% of waste management facilities across the country that comply to minimum requirements according to the Waste Act, which is obviously very concerning, because this implies issues regarding water pollution and contamination due to the fact that there's no lining underneath the landfill sites. And it also goes out to security and access control, fencing, carcasses on sites, medical waste. So in general, it seems that landfill sites are not managed properly, and it does have severe consequences to local communities and their health.
RMS has conducted a number of audits for a number of municipalities with TOM, and we have noted that the non-compliances have been taken up by the provincial government. However, possibly this stops with the meeting with the landfill manager or the municipal manager with the issuing of a directive to rectify the problem. However, sometimes, and what we have noticed more recently, is the contravention of heights at landfill sites, and due to the fact that there's a lack of landfills, there's very little that can be done to prosecute a local authority if they're exceeding their height and they've got nowhere else to go. Because at the end of the day, decisions got to be made. If you make a decision as to a non-compliance, you've got to understand the outcome as well.
It doesn't matter if you have a license and you're not really working according to it. And those licenses are put in place for a reason, and it's to keep the environment safe and community safe around it, and also to manage the facility in such a way that it's got a bigger lifespan, and it also works in the whole cycle of waste, to reduce waste, to reuse and recycle. I think it's got a lot of potential. At the end of the day, waste can become new products and job opportunities and economic development. I do think that there's other alternatives that have economic value, just apart from putting waste in it and covering it again. So we need government to step up. We need politics to get out of our local government finances, which finances your integrated development plans as well as your MIG grants, your municipal infrastructure grants. And that money must be allocated to start developing these things and to make sure that we've got a cleaner environment. And local government needs to start enforcing law on ground level to ensure that communities adhere to bylaws and the Waste Management Act. And also we need our enforcement, our Department of Environmental Affairs, to step up and hold municipal officials accountable and to regulate the Waste Act properly.
In terms of the function of municipalities and provinces can't actually force a municipality to recycle through a landfill permit. So it's normally an initiative from the municipality to maximise their airspace. I don't think a certain tier of government can't force another tier of government to do certain things. Yeah, due to the problem of landfill site airspace throughout the country, and particularly in the Western Cape, we do see a major shift in waste minimisation on a metro level and in certain local authorities. But it's definitely not in your smaller municipalities. There definitely isn't that shift. They don't see it as cost effective, and also it means that from an educational point of view, people are not aware of the benefits. and often would like to have benefits with that kind of activity.